We're going to start off by talking about seasons. What is your favorite season?
Summer is my favorite season, but not for the whole year. So I like 4 seasons. But I like summer because of the sun, because of the vitamins we have. Summer mainly.
Tell me about the different seasons in your country.
We have 4 seasons, but my favorite is the summer, as I mentioned, because in Beirut it's not like too hot. And if you feel hot, you go to the mountains. So you feel like it's different in Beirut, the seasons. I like winter in Beirut. We go ski and we have many activities to do. We're not stuck at home. It's not like -20. So it's nice.
Is tourism popular in a particular season in your country?
The tourism in Beirut is high in summer and in Christmas. All the people come, it's like our country is more about family. And so they come to Beirut to see the family, to spend the holidays and to have time with the parents.
Let's talk about sports. Do you play any sports?
I used to play wakeboard, snowboard, horse riding, and I had to stop because of the kids. I'm afraid, something will happen, God forbid. And I'm planning now to go back to my hobbies.
Do you watch any sports on TV?
No, I'm not a fan of sports, but I like to do sports. And I like my kids to do sports. So I started gymnastics for my son last year. He was like 2. He was too young for the gymnastics, but I like seeing him active, not sitting and watching TV and on the iPad. So, yeah.
What sport did you play as a child in school?
Gymnastics. I love gymnastics. And for me, gymnastics is the base for whatever you want to do in your life. The base is gymnastics.
Let's talk about travel. Where was the last place you visited on holiday?
Greece. Actually, we go to Greece every summer. And I love Greece. It's like similar to Beirut, but more advanced in a way. Not more civilized, but I love Greece. I love the vibes, the islands they have, the people, the food there is amazing. I love Italy, Romania, Europe in general. I love Europe.
Where would you like to go back again on holiday?
Beirut. Actually, we're going in Christmas. We're going to spend Christmas in London, but I'm excited for Beirut.
Now let's talk about TV. Do you enjoy watching TV?
Yes. Actually, I love watching TV at night because I put the kids to sleep and I feel like this is my time with my husband. So like 2-3 hours before going back to sleep. And I feel like it's our quality time, sitting together, watching a movie, a documentary, series.
What kind of TV programs do you most enjoy watching?
I love Netflix. Yeah, and you have all the options you want. If you want to watch a series or a documentary, or you have plenty of choices.
What was your favorite TV show when you were a child?
When I was a child, I used to play outside with my neighbors. So we used to spend time playing more than watching TV. But we used to watch the kids show at 5 a.m. before school, and that's it. When we come back from school, we run directly to the street. So describe a TV documentary you watched that you enjoyed. The last one I watched, it was about the population in this country who lived longer than the other countries. Why I watched this documentary? Because when I have kids, back to the kids, when I had the first baby, I decided to change my lifestyle, to stop eating bad food, to stop eating junk food, to change everything. So when I saw this documentary, I felt like it's a must. I have to watch this documentary and to see why this population or this country, they live longer than the other countries. And mainly it was like because of the food, the organic food. They don't go to the gym, but they walk a lot. They don't sit like doing nothing. No, they are always active. So I learned a lot while watching this documentary because my husband used to make fun of me. Okay, why you are using buckwheat flour instead of the normal flour? When I watched this documentary, I've got the answer. And I told him, look, when you eat this flour instead of this, it will help you. It will help your blood not to, how to say it, to absorb the sugar. So this is the difference between this and this. That's why in Italy, if you realize that their food is based on carbs, why they are not fat, or why they are not like sumo, because of the good ingredients they use and the quality of food they have. So yeah.
That's the end of the 2 minutes. So we've been talking about a TV documentary, and we're going to continue to talk about TV and specifically TV advertising. What type of products are most advertised on TV in your country?
To thank you for watching this video, I want to give you a free course that has helped thousands of students improve their IELTS speaking score. What it's going to do is take you through every single part of the test and give you strategies for part 1, part 2 and part 3, and also allow you to practice at home for free and get feedback. To sign up for that for free, all you have to do is just click the link in the description. Thanks very much, and let's get back to the video.
So mainly the food. They do a lot of commercials about food. Cheese, fries, yeah, food.
Do you think that people pay attention to adverts on TV?
Yeah, of course they do. Because it's not like an ad you can skip. You have to watch. Otherwise, you put mute, but you are still watching. Even if you mute the TV, you are still watching and seeing the product name and the product itself.
How important are regulations on TV advertising?
So important, especially for the young generation. You know what's happening now, and the brainwash the kids they are going through, and the things we're not used to see and we're not used to think about, now we are seeing everywhere in the cartoons, in the, like we say, under the table, the messages, like, yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is give you some feedback. You did very, very well, but there's always room for improvement. So I'm not criticizing you or anything like that. I'm just trying to help you get the best mark possible. So I'm going to give you feedback on part 1, part 2, and part 3. And then we'll talk about your pronunciation, your fluency, your grammar, your vocabulary, all of those things.
To thank you for making it this far in the video, I want to give you 10% off our VIP course. The IELTS VIP course is the most successful IELTS course in the world. That is a fact because we have more Band 7, 8 and 9 success stories than any other IELTS course in the entire world. We do that by simplifying the whole IELTS process, supporting you with some of the best IELTS teachers in the world, and being with you every step of the way until you get the score that you need. All you have to do is just look down in the description, just click that, and you can sign up. If you have any questions about the VIP course, always feel free to get in touch with us. We answer 100% of the questions that we get. Hope that you become a VIP. If not, enjoy the rest of this free video.
So part 1, you did very, very well. One thing that you did particularly well was you really developed your answers, and you were very fluent. So you had no problem talking about those things. One thing that you do that could become a problem, I don't think it is a problem, is that you tend to answer the question and then you will go off and speak about things related to that question, but kind of adjacent to that topic, you know? So you're going off and talking about your children related to that rather than really sticking to the question. So you get a mark for, it's called coherence, which means did you answer the question and really develop the answer related to that question. So you didn't do it that much, but sometimes you went off and talked about things, which is okay, but we want to help you get the highest mark possible. With part 2, you had no problem speaking for 2 minutes. Most students find it very difficult to speak for 2 minutes. You don't have any problem at all speaking for 2 minutes about that. Just be careful, and again, you stick to the topic. It was describe a TV documentary, and you talked a lot about you and your husband and his health and why that food is healthy, that's okay because it's related to that topic. So in the way that you did it was probably fine. But the question is, describe a documentary. So you should really, really focus on that. The only weakness that you have is really sticking to and answering the actual question.
Okay.
So you can use examples from your own life. For example, my husband, we started using buckwheat in the pasta and that really helped him. And then go back to the documentary. If you did the test for real, you might be under pressure, you might be stressed out. And when people are stressed out, they're not thinking clearly. And then you might start talking about things that are not really related to the question. Part 3, you did develop your answers, but you should try to maybe use a little bit more development. Use things like explaining why you think that or giving examples will help you develop it a little bit more. Again, sometimes you kind of went off on a tangent. A good way to think about the questions is maybe for most of these part 3 questions, there's not all of them, but most of them, there's like most things, this side and this side. All right. So if you want to think more clearly about these questions, it would be, well, some people think this. Here's why they think that. Some people think this. Here's why they think that. I personally believe this. So for example, how important are regulations on TV? So some people think that there shouldn't be any regulations, maybe because they're advertisers and they want to sell more stuff. Other people think that they should be heavily regulated because of children. Children should not be exposed to certain things through advertising. Personally, I'm a parent, so I think that there should be regulations, especially before 9 p.m.
Nowadays, we have to double them.
So you can see how I give a more in-depth, more balanced view, especially the last question. It was kind of like you were talking as you were thinking. It's better to take a few seconds and think. You don't have to immediately give an answer, but think, like, okay, why do people think this? Why do people think that? And then you can give the answer. Okay. So that would help. But overall, excellent. Like really, 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 really well done. So let me give you some feedback on pronunciation, fluency, grammar, and vocabulary. For pronunciation, the examiner will be thinking, can I understand everything that she says? And they will. He or she listening to you will be able to understand 100% of what you're saying. So you'll get a very high mark for pronunciation. You do have a Lebanese accent, and that you should be very proud of that. A lot of people think that getting a high mark for pronunciation means sounding British or American or Australian. That's not what it's about at all. Some of the best students in the world have very strong accents, but it's not about speaking with a British accent. It's about using your own accent to speak as clearly as possible, and you do an excellent job with that. So you would get a very high score for your pronunciation. It's very, very good, yes. And you also use intonation very well, so your voice going up, your voice going down to show meaning. You do that very well. So overall, your pronunciation is the very, very, very high standard.
Thank you.
So, just to go back to accent, the only time accent would cause a problem is if your accent is so thick that it causes problems for the listener. And yours
when
is
you
not.
don't understand when I'm saying, right?
Exactly. And as I said, I'm sitting with you talking, and there's not one word that I don't understand. So it's very, very good. We'll move on to fluency and coherence. So fluency and coherence is one band. Fluency means speaking normally without pausing or hesitating or repetition. You have no problem with that in general, but we'll come back to that in a second. Coherence is your main issue. So coherence is, did you answer the question? So sometimes you go off on a you remind me of my sister. My sister can speak for days, and you ask her about one thing and she ends up talking about something
you're right, because
completely.
I forgot that we have the time, and I'm like
I mean, under normal, like when I'm speaking to my sister, I would never criticize her about her speaking level. But remember, this is a test. So,
it's nice to hear.
So
I'm happy to hear this.
so it's not a criticism. It's just, but remember that they're testing that. So you would maybe get a lower mark for coherence, and then fluency, especially towards the end, because you were trying to think of the correct answer. It's a speaking test, so there's no correct answer. Any answer is acceptable. They're not testing your knowledge of the topic or your IQ. They're just using these general topics so that anyone can talk about them. That's why they ask you about questions that anyone in Lebanon or Vietnam or South Africa or any country in the world will know about these topics. So you don't have to be an expert in them. In part 3, if you get a difficult topic, feel free to say, I don't know much about this, but here's my guess.
Yeah.
You know, and throw out that. Just keep talking, and that's absolutely fine. And then at the end, you didn't know the right word, because that sometimes happens. Even myself, when I'm speaking, I'm like, my mind has gone blank. I can't.
Even in Arabic, sometimes I like, what
is that
I
word?
wanted to say, what was the, exactly.
So if that happens in the test, all you have to do is say to the examiner, I'm thinking of this word, I can't think of the exact one, but it means this, or paraphrase it, this, and that's absolutely fine, because that happens in normal, like when you're speaking Arabic. When I'm speaking English, I do it when I'm teaching all the time, because they're not looking for the perfect answer. They're looking for, if you move to London or Canada or New York City and you got a job in one of those, in a company there, would you be able to communicate with those people? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what really they're testing. For grammar, your grammar is excellent. Very, very good, very, very accurate. You do make certain little slips, like this one, for example, but these are just little slips. You're not making them all the time, all right? So 90% of your sentences have no errors in them, no grammatical errors. You do make little slips, but none of those slips stop me understanding what you're saying. So if you were making grammar mistakes where I'm like, what does she mean? Like, I don't know what she means, then that would be an issue. But because your slips are minor and not frequent at all, you would get a very high score for grammar. So your grammar is very, very good. Same with your vocabulary. Your vocabulary is of a very high standard, such as this. So you can see that you use very good topic-specific vocabulary and also very idiomatic vocabulary. So this is vocabulary that native English speakers would use, that generally learners wouldn't be able to use. So that demonstrates that you've got a very high level of vocabulary.
Thank you.
Overall, you would get a high score, except for coherence and fluency. Yeah. That's what you should work on. Yeah. And we'd like to invite you back, and we can do another one, and we can see if you get the top score.
Thank you.
Good?
Yeah.
All right, good.